Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make over some peat pots. And we're going to make these over for spring and Easter. I like having some small items like this that can be used in tiered trays or in your centerpieces or just anywhere for decor. And these are also make cute little gifts to give for a teacher or just a number of things. You could even stick a gift card down in one of these. And you don't have much money in them because these little peat pots are not very expensive. And I got mine at Amazon, and I'll try to link that in the description. But you can get these at Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot or just about anywhere. So they're very easily accessible. I think even Dollar Tree may have them. So what I'm going to do is just go through and give these different finishes. I'm just going to put chalk paint on them. This is a whitewash, and I think I only did one in the whitewash. And you just kind of brush that on and wipe it off. But then the rest I'm going to paint with chalk paint. And you don't have to get a good full coverage coat. It's actually better if you don't have. Because I think that's the beauty of these. And on this one I am painting the inside. On the rest I decided not to because I'm going to be filling them anyway. And that's not going to show. So like I said, I'm just going to go through and paint different colors on these. And then I'm going to make some molds to go on, some clay molds to go on some of these. On some, I'm going to roll out some clay with a rolling pin, roll it out thin. And then I'm going to use some of my stamps, my rubber stamps or clear stamps to make impressions on them and glue that on. So I'm just going to kind of do different finishes. And here I'm adding some petroleum jelly around the rim of my lid because when I open a new jar, if I don't remember to do this, it gets stuck. And if you put petroleum jelly just around the threaded part of the lid, it will keep that from happening. So like I said, I'm just kind of quickly putting some finishes on these, and then I'll decide later what I want to do with them, but I'm just getting some finishes ready. And now I'm making some clay molds to go on some of these. And so I'll just make these up, and while they're still wet, I'll glue them on the ones that I'm going to be using them on. And then I can paint them later if I put a finish on them at all. But here I'm just making a little cameo mold and putting this on. And the link on this one I don't really have because my sister gave it to me, but I've seen these on Amazon, and this is just one that is for fondue, for cake making. So these are very easy to find. And just to let you know, I won't be making one of these at a time. I'm making several, so I'm going to make several molds, and like I said, they won't be in order. I'll do all my painting, and then I'll glue on my molds, and I'll be doing some decoupage and different finishes. So if you like when I do one item and finish it and then reveal it, this is not the kind that I'm going to be doing, because it just would take way too long to do all of these like that. So you'll just have to kind of read between the lines at times and see that I'm just working on a step at a time. Now I attempted to put a transfer on this one, but I don't recommend that because you have to put too much pressure on it. And these being peat pots, it just it gave too much, and it just wasn't a good result. Now I did attempt another transfer, one more, and I had better luck with it, but I still, after that one, I just decided not to try anymore. Now, if you're admiring all these beautiful Easter napkins, these were sent to me by a very sweet viewer, Myra, and I don't know where she found all these, but there was some really pretty ones, and you'll see several of these that I'll be using on these pots. And I always just decoupage one layer of that napkin. Now here I'm just adding some script stamp to some of the pots, but it didn't work real well on this, so I would recommend, if you're using script stamp that's this small, that you stamp it on a single layer of a napkin and then put it on there. When I use my larger stamp, the kindest regards, because the lettering's a lot larger, it worked out fine, but the smaller script not so much. And now I'm just taking my antiquing ink and antiquing around the edges of some of these, because these little bunnies, I felt like they needed to have more of an antique look. Now what I didn't show, and this is the first time that I've tried this, but what I always find with the peat pots is they're so lightweight that when you try to put them in a tiered tray or any kind of decor for that matter, they seem to be a little top heavy. So what I did is I mixed some plaster of Paris and water, and I just got it about the consistency maybe of yogurt, and then just pour just a little bit in the bottom of each of these. And I probably put even more than I needed. You just need a little bit in the bottom. And the funny thing is, I did it so they wouldn't turn over, and when I would try to lay one down, most of them would just sit up on their own, kind of like, and I did this one before this dried and made a mess. So I recommend you let this dry first before you do all this, but I get in a hurry and don't always do that. But some of these are solid enough to where this doesn't happen, but I think I put a little too much in this one. But I know you've heard of the toys, or you remember the toys, the Weebles, the wobble, but they don't fall down. That's kind of what you get with these when you put this plaster of Paris in the bottom. But I was really happy with how that turned out. So that's definitely something I'll be doing in the future. Now I'm sorry I'm out of frame a lot on these. All I'm doing here is just antiquing the edges of some of them, actually most of them. Now this is actually my favorite thing to do to these pots. So I just take some clay and I roll it out very thin with my rolling pin. And like I said, you want this really thin. So as thin as you can get it without being able to see through it, or get a hole in it rather. And then you're just going to take something to cut a shape from. And I just happened to have a cookie cutter that was a really good shape to put on this. But really just whatever shape you want, or you don't even have to have a shape at all. You can actually take your stamp, which I'm going to be stamping on this to make impressions, and you can just stamp on that and then just cut it out whatever shape you want it. I just think it helps to have a cookie cutter shape to begin with. So I just cut out a few of these, and I'll just do my impressions directly on that. And then when I no longer had enough to cut that shape from, then I'm going to do what I said before, and I'll just take a stamp and stamp onto this little piece in no particular shape, and then I'll just cut around that design with the scissors. And that's a very easy way also to do the impressions. So now I'm just taking my rolling pin and putting this little bee on the top. This is from the set. It's a redesigned set called Icy Paris. And I just wanted that little bee in the center. So I'm just going to cut that little bee out and put it on one. And then these others, I'm just gonna roll that impression on top of my shape. And then I'll just be able to wash these. I'll just wash them in warm soapy water. I'm trying here to add some ink, and I didn't get very good luck with that. So I tried that. That didn't work. And then on the next one, I used some antiquing ink, and that worked a lot better. So just kind of play with them and just try different things and see what you like. I got a little bit of color there, but not much at all. But like I said, once I added the antiquing ink, that showed up a lot better. And now before I add the handles to these, then I'm going to add some lace trim to several of them. And I mentioned in a previous video that a very sweet viewer, Laura Jo, sent me a whole box of beautiful, beautiful vintage lace, and a lot of this was in it. So thanks to her, I had lots of choices on these. I know I have a black sleeve there. I tried some Dixie Dirt earlier today, and it just got all over my sleeve. So I wasn't happy with the project that I used it on, so I'm going to have to find out the instructions of how to use it. I'm so bad about just jumping into things and just kind of winging it, so I'm going to have to figure that one out. But I try to get it off my sleeve by dusting it off, and it doesn't dust off, but I do think that it will come off. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening.
God bless you and your family.
And God bless you and your family.